All right, let me come here, find this link. All right, here it is. All right, give me a second. All right, we'll give it a few minutes for people to join. And
wait, this meeting is being live streamed. Yep, I got it.
Oh, you got it already. Okay, perfect.
Well,
perfect.
I just saw that this meeting was being live streamed. So
okay, gotcha. All right, let me send this out. So I just, all right, boom. All right, give me a second, guys. I got to send it to my phone, which I just did. Grab it, and then I'll send it up to you guys right now.
Oakley dokley.
All right, copy URL.
Randy, you think you could tweet it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the what do you call it?
Because what I'll do, I'll just go to your Twitter and just.
All right.
Okay, perfect. I just sent it to Randy.
Wait, hang on. I missed it's not going to the.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I go to the link that you sent, and then when it just goes to Star Wars Net.
Oh
Star
God.
Wars.
Okay, let me do that again.
Okay.
All right, let me get this.
Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Hey, we're already live. Okay, so let me go and do a quick copy and go to the Twitters right now and be like, come hang and ask us anything.
That's right. Okay, and then I am going to. So Strange, you got it?
I'm gonna retweet from Randy's page,
and then I'll do the same. All this good stuff here. Twitterverse. All right, here we go.
Got no thumbnail, but it's all good.
No, I thought the thumbnail was like a sports page.
Yeah, we're on Zoom. I can't put an official on StreamYard. I can.
Yeah.
But on Zoom, I'm not able to. But it'll work.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, let's go ahead.
I was on stream this morning, and people were asking about like, hey, do you think there's going to be a big drop off after MTL like there was with Top Shot? And then I was thinking, it's like, one thing that I never really got into Top Shot, because as I was getting into it, I found this. I was like, okay, well, this is going to be the clear winner in the NFT space. So, I don't really need to go into Top Shot, but also because Top Shot, they only have moments from like the last 10 years or so. Exactly. There wasn't any really fun stuff like from the 90s. Like there wasn't like Jordan getting beat up by the Pistons and Dennis Rodman. There wasn't like, Larry Bird just poning people, be like, you can't guard me. Can't the best there ever was.
Right.
If they were to have that type of like back and forth killer stuff, I would totally be all over it. But they didn't.
They could have came with like just dunk contest moments. I would have loved to have some Sean Kemp, Harold Miner. Too many. I mean, Vince Carter, forget it. You know what I'm saying? Spreewell's year.
Oh, do like Carl Mailman Malone, Scottie Pippen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the best I've seen is just like now they do have kind of like some sort of vintage moments. So I have like a Dwayne Wade and Wally Serbiak, and they got it. They're starting to go there, I guess. But I know what you're saying. Like out the gate, they should have kind of had. And like you said, to me, it's a little limited. It's like it's still just basketball clips at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, if it was better, I would totally get in. But yeah, some of the clips are a little boring. I think you said now they're better, but back in the day, it was different.
So all right, so we gave everybody a couple of minutes to join. Hello, everybody in the chat. We're going to officially start now. We're sitting down with the real Randy Chavez. This is going to be super exciting. I am pumped. So look, I have a link to his YouTube channel in the description right now in the chat. It's pinned. Go over there for whatever reason. If you're not subscribed, go and subscribe, but you probably are already. But if you're not, there it is. And by the end of this video, we're going to go ahead and discover who is the real Randy Chavez. I'm Veve. Who is he? What is he all about? If you like free stuff, subscribe. If you like all this cool stuff, all this cool content, like. And so we're here with the real Randy Chavez. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Streamed this morning and we talked about good stuff. And then I was on the Voices of Veve, Wendy Stabalis' stream with Reese was on there and a whole bunch of people were on there. And this is the main event tonight.
That's right.
Get the spread.
You know what? You know, it would be awesome if that's the goal. I would love to interview just everybody within the Veve family, just because I feel that Strange and I and Fast Eddie P, when we're here having our interviews, it's a little different. It's a different angle. We don't only talk Veve, we talk life, we talk, you know, just everything. So, all right. So just getting right into it. Where were your we're going to go before your parents. Where were your grandparents born?
I'm assuming Peru. I was adopted, so I almost didn't get into the military because I didn't have a birth certificate.
Oh,
like the guy that was there is like, all right, I just need like a birth certificate, and I was like, I don't have that, sir. And he's like, well, your mom's got it. Ask her. I was like, sir, I don't think she does. And then he's like, no, she has it. Like he was so like, and he wasn't somebody that had like never left America. He was in the Air Force like 20 years at that point. I was like, yeah, in Peru, there's no record keeping. But my mom is definitely like 100% Peruvian. She is like short. She was like 4'8" or 5'1", something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what my dad was. But I'm tall. Like apparently most people down there are like 5'4", 5'6", or whatever, and I'm like 5'9". That might be because of nutrition in the U.S., but yeah, grandparents, I have zero idea. So I'm sorry. That first question is a dud.
All right, okay, but you're in Peru.
Yeah.
You're, okay, and so you were born where, over there, or over here?
Yeah, in Arequipa.
Okay. At what age did you leave?
So I don't 100% know. Best estimate is like 6 months, or like between 6 months and a year. But part of the reason I don't know is because when they were the people that were adopting me, they had this weird issue with the judge was drunk and was unable to sign the things in time. So they says, oh, actually, now that he didn't do that, you cannot be adopted, or this kid cannot be adopted because it's past the X amount of month time. So they had to change my birth date from December 15th and basically cross it out and scribble it out and write December 22nd.
No way.
So like everything says like December 22nd, like on my official documents, but it was really the 15th that I was born of December. So I was like, well.
Wow, that's very interesting. Crazy
stuff goes down in third world countries.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my wife's family is from Dominican Republic, and she has, you know, a lot of family still over there, and you know, I've heard like things just work differently.
Yeah,
for sure. So you went to New York, I'm assuming?
Yes. Yeah, okay. So it was in like Lynbrook, and then a place called Levittown. I spent pretty much most of my life in Levittown, and then it's on Long Island, and then I just went to the military afterwards. Then I kind of bounced around. Like I don't think I've only been. There was one place that I was for a year or more. Everywhere else I had moved. Like I'd moved up whole like 20 something times over the last 10 years.
How do you like that?
It's interesting. It keeps me. Apparently, as you get older, it's harder to move, but it just keeps interesting. Like, hey, where am I going? Where am I off to next? You know, and I feel like, hey, I've been there before, or somebody says, so I feel like well traveled, even though like a lot of it's been in the same like state, but I feel like because I've been in other places.
Very dope, very dope. I almost went into the military. but that was what intrigued me about the military was, traveling. I've always been into traveling. So, but even after the fact, I've never stayed in one house for more than 3 years, I would say. So I've moved a lot in my life too. So
same here, man. Pretty much on the go, man. Especially, I was pretty stable as a kid. I grew up out here in LI, had family in the city though. But once my parents passed, man, it was all bets was off, man. You know what I'm saying? I was all over the place, and that's how I started moving around out of state. Then when I moved back to New York, I was just like, do I get an actual apartment? Like Long Island's kind of weird, you know what I'm saying? Like it's either an apartment, or you're renting a room, or
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of doing the room thing because I went from having like a full, I got the kitchen, the living room. when I'm paying like thousands of dollars, like paying someone's mortgage, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not adding up. Like, so I'm like, I don't even need all that. Like, just give me a room, man, whatever.
yeah, absolutely.
Man, but I actually lived with a Peruvian family for like 5 years, man. So it's funny you said that,
How were they? Like, what were they like?
Oh man, very quiet, you know what I'm saying? Humble people, you know what I'm saying? Very family oriented. I was cool with two brothers, you know what I'm saying? Became best friends. One of them passed away like 2 years ago, actually. But the family was mad cool, took me in like, you know what I mean? Like took care of me. I got to get familiar with a lot of Peruvian dishes, if they didn't have pork in it. I don't eat pork,
Okay.
but yeah, man, very cool.
I'm always curious about that because I've maybe spent less than a day total with any other Peruvians. Like I worked with one girl named Whitney once. She was part Peruvian, and there was like one guy who's when I was like a chimney sweeper or like assistant. He was Peruvian, but outside of that, like I've had a couple of interactions with them. So I'm always really curious to see how. And other people's like, oh yeah, I could tell you were Peruvian from like the second I looked at you. It was like, really? I don't know. Like, is that racist? I don't know. But yeah.
So okay, so growing up, what toys were you into?
Toys. I actually really liked cars when I was super younger, like Hot Wheels, and I don't know what this was. This was really like core memory that you're unlocking here. It was like this maybe 3 feet by 2 feet thing, and you had like this monster truck, and I would just like it wasn't motorized or anything. I was just like pretending and playing. It's like, oh, this is and I think my parents definitely thought I was weird because I was like, I had this game called Superstar Soccer 64 or International Superstar Soccer. It was on the N64, and there was a British guy who was announcing it because it's like European football. So I'd be like, Norway has got away with a blatant foul. Like he would always like be really.
I think I played that too.
So I would be like, oh my! I would scream in this like British accent, and I'm like, oh my god! And the truck is rolling over. The people are dead. Everything's on fire. And I know my parents thought like, we got the broken. This is why we got him so cheap. This is why.
We could have got two Randys for one, man. This is why.
I don't think I've ever told anyone that before.
Yeah. Wait, before I forget, hello, Dashy.
Hello, Dashy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh my gosh,
always the one to do that, man.
I gotta bring Dashy to like a 10-cent party when it reaches 10 cents or something like that, so everyone can say hello.
That would be dope. So okay, somebody who I think it was Brandon Z. Brandon Z in the chat asked about Pokemon, because I know you are obviously a big collector or was a big collector of Pokemon, and you moved a lot of the collection. So how did that all start?
I actually saw this it came up on Facebook Memories the other day, where randomly one Saturday morning, instead of doing what I normally did, which I forget what it was, but I remember turning on WB11, and they had Pokemon on. I forget what episode it was. Might have been like the Bye Bye Butterfree episode or whatever. But I thought like, this is really good. This is really cool. I just remember thinking, just like eating like my whatever cereal I was that day. I was like, this is good. And ever since then, I always remember to wake up at that time. And then I found out that reruns would play, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it started from there, random Saturday morning. And then my friend David had Pokemon Blue, so I got Pokemon Blue, and then my aunt got me Pokemon Red for Christmas, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, it was just, yeah, I was enthralled. I could not turn it off. It was
That's awesome. That's awesome. So did you right away from the very beginning, were you like, I need to hold on to these, I'm gonna, save them, or no?
From the cards, not because I thought that they would be valuable. I was like 8 or 9 or something like that, but just because they were cool. And whenever I remember my first card, I don't know what the rare was. I think it was like a last or a trainer. It wasn't anything like cool. It wasn't a holo, but I remember getting Charmeleon. I remember getting Rattata and Charmeleon, and I was like, whoa, this is Charmeleon. This is like a really good Pokemon. But there weren't like first editions or anything. I didn't really get into like spending lots of money until much later in life. But there's this one episode of Everybody Loves Raymond where they basically do a Pokemon episode where like, oh, the kids are in this new monster game or whatever, and Allie wants this new monster called whatever it's called, and Ray's like, oh, she wants a card, I'll get her a card. And then he finds out it's like, it's $100 a card, like what? So he goes to Allie, he's like, listen, Allie, I can get it for you, but is this why you wanted the card? Because you heard it was worth $100? And she said, no, I wanted him because I love him. And I was like, I'm so glad the writers got the kids' point of view where they like things because they love them.
Right.
And I remember everyone saying, this is just a fad, this is gonna pass. And I was like, this is different. Because I liked other stuff, like I like dinosaurs, I like cars, but I was like, this was different. It enthralled every aspect of me. And
well, we have Garbage Pail Kids to blame for that. You know what I'm saying?
Beanie Babies and all that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. What movies what movies were you into when you were growing up?
So I remember I have an older cousin who was not like terribly, he's like 4 years older, but I was like 7 and he was 11. So he was like into like a little more like mature stuff than I was. And I remember him talking with his friend about the movie It, or the miniseries It, but they, with John Ritter. And I heard him talking about it. I was like, I want to get it. So I was like 7 years old. My parents were going to Blockbuster, and I don't know if I actually got away with this or if my parents were trying to like teach me a lesson, but it had R on it. But so I took my finger and I put it over the R. I was like, hey, can I get this movie? It's about a clown. It's got John Ritter in it. It's supposed to be like really funny. And like, I've never heard of it. It's like, well, it's got John Ritter. He's funny because I knew that he was someone that older people liked and found comedic. So then my mom's like, yeah, okay. And I watched it and I was so scared, poopless for like weeks. It was, I still don't like clowns. Right. So, but other movies outside of that, I think I like animal, I like 101 Dalmatians. I like Homeward Bound. I like it I liked a bunch of animal movies because I like animals. So
very dope. Biscuits in the chat. Biscuits in the chat. Nice to see you here. She's laughing. So what about, I know obviously you mentioned Pokemon and whatnot. Were there any other cartoons that you liked when you were growing up?
Scooby-Doo was so good. A pup named Scooby-Doo. I was like, whoa, this is great. So yeah, like, I spent a lot of time at my grandma's when I was younger. So when I was super young, I'd be watching like PBS, Thomas the Tank Engine. They were entertaining, and I was okay. But then I got into cartoons. I was like, oh, this is different. This is a crazy one. So yeah, Scooby-Doo, a pup named Scooby-Doo. You know, my parents they had cable, so I found you know, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. All the Hanna-Barbera stuff like Smurfs and Jetsons. It was just I didn't really do much all day, so I got caught up with like 40 years or 30 years worth of TV, starting from like the Brady Bunch and Hanna-Barbera and all that, and other cartoons. Yeah, like so I remember one day they had a Sylvester versus Tweety Bird, like they had like a large cookout or whatever, and they were playing a bunch of the episodes and like who's gonna win in these series of fights. And I'm like, yeah, come on, Sylvester. But then Tweety Bird wound up winning. I was like, oh.
So, all right. So, what about? And by the way, in the chat, if you want me to ask any questions, and I did see the recur question, but I want to save that question. By the way, so feel free to ask whatever you want in the chat. Link in the chat that's pinned is to Randy's YouTube channel. So, if for whatever reason you have not subscribed, go ahead, subscribe, and hurry back because you're gonna miss like probably the most important part of this whole interview. So what about video games?
So I forget his name, is my dad's friend from work. I think it's like Gino or something. He had an old Nintendo, like a NES, and he just gave it to him,
Wow.
like for me. And I was like, oh my God, God bless that dude. Because I got Duck Hunt, I got Super Mario, so that's where I guess that's where it kicked in. And I got so good at Mario. I got pretty good at Duck Hunt, but I was really good at Mario, the original. I got really good at this pinball game also, because when I had like 3 games, like okay, well I'll play pinball, and I got so good at that. And then when the NES, the classic came out, the mini a few years ago, my friend Mark that I was living with, his daughter Lauren got one, and we were testing out all these. It was like jailbroken. We got like you know, a bunch of games, and I was like, oh my God, pinball. So I was like, really, have all these games are playing pinball? I was like, girl, you don't know. So it took me back like 20 plus years. So those, and then Game Boy, it was mostly Pokemon games for Game Boy.
So is that the Triforce tattoo on your arm?
Yes, I got. So there hasn't been a heat delivery for a few days, so I am very cold. But yeah, I got Triforce, I got Mario, Paper Mario, I got Yoshi, I got Kirby, I got Star Fox Over Yonder. And
that was a freaking awesome game.
Right, so good.
Oh my God, I was so addicted to that game.
I don't think I can. I can't get it up. I have Donkey Kong throwing a Pokeball up here. That's that's a bigger one.
That's awesome. I knew, I was like, that's the Triforce. I know. So obviously you played Zelda.
Yeah, I had Majora's Mask, and I had Ocarina of Time, and then I had the Game Boy one, but I never finished the Game Boy one. I forget which one that was. Might have been I forget whichever one it was. I just wasn't good at it. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I loved all those games. You know, Zelda and just Nintendo when it came out was it's so special. It was huge. Yeah. Star Fox, obviously, that was super good. Strange. Yeah. What was I'm just curious. You know, we're talking about video games. What was your favorite NES game?
NES.
Nintendo, yeah, Nintendo game.
Man, that's a hard one, bro. I'd like, because it's like I was there from the beginning. You know what I mean? I was playing video games before it, so it's like when it came out, I saw that first wave. You know, me and all the kids in the neighborhood during Christmas. Is like, if you didn't have Metroid, then go down the block. Somebody had Double Dribble. All right, cool, you got that. So it was like I was playing that. I mean, Castlevania, Ghosts and Goblins. I mean, it was Tyson's Punch Out. Like, it's so much. Kid Icarus. I played them all. I played the little games nobody thought about to the big games. Like, I had people in my neighborhood that would literally come to everyone's house every day. This one kid named Brian Babs. You know, he would have doubles and triples of games, bro. He'll come through. Like, if he heard you got Double Dragon just came out, he'll come on. He'll be like, yo, did you beat it yet? He'd be like, yeah. He'd be like, listen, I'll trade you 3 games. One game, one double J. You like, damn, like the game's been out, but I ain't play them yet. I just played this. All right, give me the games, man. Give me the games. So it's like you get your stack. So you
Double
play
Dragon was good.
Oh, that's
right.
so great.
And it's like I was disappointed that it wasn't the arcade version, but I was still happy to have something,
Right.
right.
Help the fix. Yes.
Yeah.
So Randy, all right. So when you got started collecting, right? Your Pokemon cards, that was the first thing you started collecting, right?
Yeah, when I was young. Well, yeah, maybe the cars when I was younger, like but I grew out of the cars pretty quickly. I pretty much once Pokemon came to town, and I would get $5 a week for allowance, and I would go to Tri-County, this flea market, perfect $5 a pack, and that's what I would do every week. I'd just get them, and they were great.
That's funny. Strange.
Were you around when Busy Bee was out there? Were you in Nassau County when Busy Bee was open?
I was in Nassau County. I don't know what Busy Bee. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where that it was.
You know about Busy Bee, Joe? Busy Bee Flea Market? Oh man, it was on Sunrise, man.
I was just gonna ask you about like what flea markets you went to down over there, because I don't recall because I grew up in New York. I don't recall what the flea market he mentioned.
Oh, Tri-County, yeah. That was big for like jewelry, especially jewelry. That's where we were gonna get, jewelry. Like that's the thing is like when you're in Suffolk County, there was no point in going to anywhere in Nassau because it's like I might as well drive 5 more minutes and go to Queens. I might as well go to Jamaica Ave.
Right.
Or whatever. So, it wasn't until I was a little older that I started venturing around Nassau a little more. But when I was a kid, there were no real flea markets out here in Suffolk. There was one like further out east on Sunrise. But if you wanted stuff that more was like up to date with what people in the city were wearing or doing, that's where you would need to go. So we would go to Busy Bee. So that was where it's near the mall. What mall is that?
The mall with like the Dave and Buster's in it?
It's near Green Acres Mall.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't think I've gone there.
Oh, Green Acres. That's already almost, that's in Nassau County.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know Green Acres Mall. I just don't remember.
Yeah. Busy Bee flea market, man. It was yellow and red. Busy Bee. They had sports cards. They had comics. Everything in there, bro. Everything. I bet you Eddie P knows. Eddie P knows. I bet you. Probably.
I haven't seen him in the chat yet. By the way, chat, ask away. Okay, so we'll ask that question that was asked earlier about recur. Do you have any recur passes?
I do not.
Do you plan on?
So what?
Do you plan on messing with recur at all, or no?
I did hear that they had teased a 3D collectible, and if they do that, like if I get like if I can get the real monsters like in their 3D, yeah, I'll totally get those. I think I've just been spoiled by Veve that outside of the 2D art and the posters, they're cool 3D, and some of them are animated, and everyone else, that just has like, the pictures, the JPEGs, they're still cool, and the artwork is interesting, and they are the first NFTs of some of those that are going to be out. But I almost feel like that is kind of going backwards a little bit. But if they do come out with like a 3D Riptar, 3D Hello Kitty, I will get those. Yes. Okay,
very cool. Another question that came in the chat from Tito420 Discord. Yes. By the way, Tito's in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you got to join the Discord. We talk all craziness, all things collectible related. But he wants to know, what is your opinion or your views about the metaverse? What do you think it's going to be like?
Oh, well, I think it depends on what years we're talking about. If we're doing just next year, I think it'll probably just be. I'm hoping it'll be a bunch of land where you can view on your tablet or computer and be like, oh, hey, this is where my avatar is. This is where the building is, and I could own this plot of land. I don't know if they'll reinstate the cars like the DeLoreans, have them drive again. But even if next year it's just saying, walking around. And even if it takes you like 6 years to go from here to here, you know, because it's probably gonna be very large. As long as you can say, hey, this is my land, I can do whatever I want with it. Yeah, I can have a house, I can, you know, put more OMI in, I can build, so instead of 1 story, it's 2 stories. And I want to have a big house. I want to have, I have all the Marvel ones. So I will have the big Avengers logo up on the house, and I'll have so I will definitely get 2 houses. I will definitely have multiple properties. Marvel for 1, DC and everything else. We'll take the other houses. And then I guess we'll have Pokemon take take other houses when we get that.
Yeah.
But as long as it has that, I'll be very happy to start.
Yeah, man. I heard you mention, well, I hear you mention Earth 2 a lot on your streams, and I'm a little out the loop. So I'm wondering if there might be some other people out the loop, but maybe you can fill me in on what I've been missing with Earth 1 and 2.
Yeah, sure. So what they did was pretty genius, and there was a lot of copycats right afterwards. They partnered with Mapbox, and they said, okay, well, let's do what Niantic did. Niantic took the what was a geocaching game, and they said, okay, all these major locations, instead of being places for geocaches, now they're gyms, and now they're, you know, Pokemon hotspots or whatever. And they did that with Mapbox. They said, let's just take the map of the whole world, and we'll call it Earth 2. It's digital. And what they did was you were able to buy places like Mount Everest, and you're able to buy Wall Street, and you're able to buy the White House. And I was so salty when, even though I was born in Peru, I consider myself very much American, where there was this Asian guy from South Korea who bought the Statue of Liberty for like $64,000. And I was like, man, that American piece of history is now not in the hands of an American. It's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. So I did like a whole video on how race and religion could affect that metaverse game. And that's why I know land is going to be so huge, because people were buying land at the starting price, you know, let's say like 10 cents a tile. You know, it reached like, the US was like $60 a tile afterwards. So you're buying it for something for 10 cents a tile, and you could sell it for 60. And that's normal land. That's not including like the big landmarks. Like this one guy bought 4 tiles that make up the Rio de Janeiro, the Christ statue, the big Christ one,
right,
and wound up selling it for literally 1,000x for $5,000. And I was like, ah! So I bought it for less than $5. He bought 4 tiles for like maybe $1. And then he winds up selling it for 5,000. I was like, this is the type of thing that I know is going to be its location in the Veveverse. If you're going to have places next to Marvel City or VV Land, whatever it's called, pay whatever you need to pay. And I'm so thankful that I have this much OMI that I don't care what OMI is at that point, 10 cents, 30 cents. I will put a couple $100,000 worth into just the land. Some will be strategic locations, some I'll just do for my own projects. But Earth 2 was like the first big one, the first one that did that with real world places. And that's the only thing I did not sell for OMI. I sold everything else except for Earth 2. So
wow,
very bullish on it.
Well, I mean, it sounds super dope. I need to investigate, because I don't know much about it.
Yeah, they eventually they will have, like, already your property, it already generates these things called jewels, which you can break down and you can shatter, and you could put on this thing called mentars, and the mentars, they detect essence, which is basically their crypto.
That was my next question, because that I heard the word essence too many times than I felt comfortable with this morning. It was too early to be listening about essence. I was like, what the hell are they talking about, man?
Yeah, so they just partnered with Polygon Matic, and so it will be on there. And they just hired a guy that didn't like used to work at Binance like years ago. He left Binance, his job, for this job. So I'm pretty sure they will have a Binance listing next year. And the essence, again, you can't get it. The only way to get essence right now is to buy land, buy some jewels, and that's the only way to get it. But those of us that have had land for a year, I have 30,000 essence. So that comes out, and that's $1.
Bam.
Yeah.
By the way, Biscuits is asking if you have a link because she's interested. It sounds pretty cool, and I
Yeah,
agree.
sure. So, Biscuits, when we're done, go to any one of my YouTube videos, and the link will be down below for Earth 2. And there's also a referral code. So if you like, let's say if you guys want to start Earth 2 together, and you say like, you get a referral code, and or if Biscuits wants to use mine, it's down in my description as well. And she wants to buy, let's say, $100 worth of land in Chavez Topia, which is a mega city in Antarctica. She can go and buy $100 worth, and if she uses my referral code, she gets $5 back, basically 5% off, and I get $5. Now she could not use the referral code and nobody gets anything, but if she uses that, she gets some and I get some. So that's a big stream of revenue that a lot of people can get, and eventually you'll be able to rent out your land as well. You can sell the jewels that you get. You can sell. I get like 50 something jewels a day, and the jewels, they sell for like 25 cents, so it's not a lot, but it's still like if you wanted to.
That adds up though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got thousands of jewels. So.
And it's on your cell phone?
You can do it on your cell phone. Just do it on your cell phone. You can do it on tablet, computer. So what I wind up doing is, all I do outside of buying new land in Chavez Topia. So I got 15,000 tiles. I have, how much essence? I have 169 properties, but most of them are in Antarctica. And so that's what everything is worth. The essence is 31.7 thousand. And the in-game money I have $6,000 in there that I will use specifically for essence. You will be able to buy that hopefully in-game soon. And a lot of people that have been here for a while, they're just going to cash out, and I'll be like, yup, it's too early, too soon. So I'll use that to buy some more.
Wow. That, I mean, so you bought in Antarctica because it's more cost effective, I'm assuming? It was
at the time it was, but they're going to have a warring world in there also, where you can choose to not be part of the warring world. None of your stuff will get messed up or anything, but there will be different benefits to being in the warring world. Like, if you fight a certain amount of battles, you get a certain amount of loot, or if you fight other you can have guilds in there, and there'll be random monsters that you can fight, and as long as you get certain hits on them, you'll be able to get some loot. And why I chose Antarctica is because you can't get there unless you sail by boat or you fly by plane, and they just bought the drone video game that's been in development for a while. So I most likely there'll be planes, and I feel like Antarctica's very well isolated, where we're going to see attacks coming, and if we can see those attacks coming, we can prepare for it. And there's a mountain behind us. Well, so that's why I did that. And yeah, it was cheap. Nobody else was there.
Interesting, man. That's dope, man. I'm glad I asked that question. I think we might have lost Joe for a second.
Yeah, I see he was frozen there for a second. I don't know what happened to him, but I did see in the rest of the chat, people were going about, Brendan Z was asking about what sports I liked growing up. So I was a pretty good New Yorker, and I liked the Islanders and I liked the New York Jets.
All right.
But I liked Mark McGuire, man. I was a Cardinals fan. So
Okay.
Randy,
him like, hey, you're back.
I'm back. Oh my goodness. The live died.
Is the live back?
No, the live, it looks like it's not.
I think it was you, and everything else was still good.
Like New York Jets. Oh, I think the live is still going on.
Oh, is it going?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
it's still going on.
It made me the host. It made me the host while you were gone.
Okay. Great recovery. I'm back. Okay, sports teams, let's go.
Yeah, so I like the Cardinals for a while. So I had Ken Griffey Jr. Like, hi, this is Ken Griffey Jr. Let's play Major League Baseball. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
So I would play that a lot. And I like the Cardinals. I like Mark McGuire, Delino DeShields, Ray Langford. John. I was really good at that game. I got intimate with the team, and my dad was a Cardinals fan. My mom was a Mets fan. So we would go to see games every now and then. When the Cardinals come to play, like once a year at Shea Stadium. back when it was Shea Stadium. And you know, when Mark McGwire that season was about to break that record, you know, 62 homers in a year, that was just so much fun. That was just like, I got to see part of history. I mean, and granted, you know, he might have been doing stuff that he might not have supposed to be doing. But I got lucky. I got to be really young when the Jets went to the AFC Championship, you know, in '98. And that was such a good season. That was such a good year. And then yeah, I got to see Cardinals win a couple World Series, you know, growing up. So it's been fun. So those were my teams.
So what about TV shows? Did you have any like favorite shows? You were like, yo, I cannot miss this week, you know, growing up and everything.
When I was I don't say young adults when you're like 11, but I'd say Friends was really good. I really enjoyed that show a lot because I was just, I don't know, they were like the cool older people that were just, they weren't like old, but they were older. They were just like on their own and they were friends, and that was like the, you know, that was cool. So I definitely like that. And Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls, I did not get along with my parents too well when I was younger. And, you know, Gilmore Girls is about the show about this mom that had a daughter at 16 because she didn't get along with her parents, and she made it on her own. It's like, you can do it on your own. So that was a good show. That spoke to me a lot as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I obviously you were, you know, I missed a lot there. Did you mention your favorite teams on all sports? I'm not sure.
I really only did I like, so Islanders just because I was on Long Island. But then when I was playing NHL, like NHL something 2004, the Flyers, I just liked, they're a really good team. And when I was stationed in New Jersey, I got to see a few of the Flyers games as well in Philly. But yeah, just New York Jets, St. Louis Cardinals. I wasn't really into basketball too much. Yeah, I watched a couple of Knicks games, but I wasn't really into basketball. My uncle actually worked for the Heat though, and when they won the championship back in, I forget what year it was, but actually I should be able to see real quick. They actually, because he worked for him, he would just do the stats, like he would write down everything that would happen. He actually got a ring, and it wasn't. Yeah, it was like 2010, 2011 season when Miami Heat won, and so he got a world champion ring. And now the players got like ones that were worth like $30,000, but he got one that was worth like $5 or something. But I felt it was heavy. It was it was like a pound. It was like one. I was like, oh my god, this is insane. Yeah.
That is dope. That is crazy.
Yeah, he would get a bunch of really cool pictures and cool stuff. So yeah.
Very cool. So okay. What about another memory we can bring up? Your first car. What was that? What kind of car was it?
It was my mom's Ford Contour that I bought from her. I had I had these, like, when I was a kid, I would get, and this kind of pissed me off a little bit, I would get like these savings bonds for like they were supposed to be like for college. And a lot of times, like when I was growing up, like that was my Christmas gift. It was a savings bond because I liked money. I like to count money. Right. But then, you know, I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to college, so I'll give you these bonds for like the car. And it crapped out in like a year. I was like, well, you know what, Mom? You got the better end of that deal. You taught me a lesson. Don't buy old cars. Don't buy old Ford. So then I got a Chevy Cavalier. What'd you say? I
was like, that was actually my pop's last car. Ford Contour. When that came
out. But then I got a Chevy Cavalier, bought it all on my own, and that was a convertible. That was sweet. That was nice. And then the next car I got after that was my Civic, the 2012 Honda Civic, and had it for years. I will have it until I get my Tesla next year.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Yes, I want to get a Tesla too. I you know, it's
which one?
I don't know if you saw, they had a news report on people purposely keying the Tesla in parking lots.
Yeah, I've seen that. People are people hate on that car, so I don't know why.
I mean, what
care about that? Why are people doing that? Just
I think it's because
I don't know.
they just don't like it. They just hear people are so tribal with that. Like they just don't like it because of X, Y, and the media tells them that they don't like Elon Musk because they don't like the 1%, or they don't like you know, some old out of date facts that maybe MSNBC tries to push or whatever. I've been hearing that like forever, like, oh, competition is coming. And I looked into it, I was like, yeah, no way. Tesla won. That they overtook it. And that's why I went all in on them years ago, you know, last 2 years. Just because they I saw what they were doing, nobody else could match.
For sure. For sure. So, okay, all right. So we spoke about your Pokemon cards. We spoke about, you know, the cars even before the Pokemon. What about
so with the cars, I'm sorry, one more thing.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I didn't move out until I was 19. So when I was like 17, 18, and I didn't have my own place and I was on a budget, you don't want to take a girl to a hotel unless you know if it's like gonna be good. So Dokta knows what I'm talking about. So I would get busy in the Ford Contour, and it was very small. And I remember seriously thinking, like, I'm going to sell this and I'm going to buy a hearse because I am not doing it in this car anymore. So then I thought, like, well, if I'm going to spend the money on that, that's, you know, probably a couple months rent. I might as well just move out and get my place. So I did that. That's just a fun story.
that is pretty good. That is pretty good. Yeah, it's that's pretty.
Yeah, definitely identify with that
one. Yeah, man. I mean, that's definitely a benefit of living on your own.
I actually had a question though, man. Right now, what do you think are the most important things for somebody that's in Veve to be doing before the whole MTL thing comes through and before the Veveverse comes?
Find out what your goals are, short, medium, and long term, and try to determine how you will go about doing that. And if Veve can help you do that, I mean, if you're going to need money, I would say take a look at how many gems you have or how much things are worth X amount of gems. Weigh that amount of money that you can pull out, most likely at a tax, and see if that is going to help you reach your goals quicker, or will leaving it in there in some NFTs and watching them grow, will that help? Play out every scenario. Find out, okay, well, what is the best way to do whatever your goal is, and go through, like, am I Dokta Strange looking at 14 million, 7 different ones? Go through each one, no matter how outrageous it might be, and figure out the pros and cons of each, and then go from there. Break things down to first principles, and see what you know to be absolutely true, and then go from there.
Is there anything more specific though that people should be looking to do? I mean, we only probably have a month or so before things start really changing, so it's not a lot of time to make adjustments or whatever, but you got a couple weeks. So is there anything someone should be doing? Should they be storing gems? Should they be selling something? Should they be holding? Should they be buying specific pieces you could think of? Anything in that way?
Sure.
You know, what do you think?
I think people should ask themselves, what will hurt less? If they sell something right now for, you know, X amount of gems, just to have gems, just in case when MTL happens, you know, things go on sale. You know, if that happens, great. Or they could sell things that they have right now for gems, but then as soon as MTL happens and they start marketing that same day, suddenly all the people that were waiting for MTL come in and they start kicking up marketing, and things go crazy, and it goes high. If you are okay with saying, like, hey, you know what, I am fine with that, I will take that risk, then that's fine. Or you could keep everything and, you know, knowing that you might need money in a month and say like, well, okay, if a bunch of people come in and goes high, that's great. Or if you keep that thing and then suddenly it's worth half of what it is next month, you know, you have those two bads and think of which one will hurt less and do that. Which one will take up least amount of your mental real estate.
Mhm.
So that's what I do with Omi. I buy it. I know I buy it because if I buy it and it goes up, great. If I buy it and it goes down, that's not a big deal for me. I would rather buy it and it go down versus me not buying it and then it go up. Like that would hurt worse.
Right.
So,
I like that. So Strange, I don't want to step on your toes. Was that was there another question behind that one?
But you know, those two were kind of paired together, so I just wanted to get those out back to back. So
yeah, sure.
So do you have any of the old toys? I know you mentioned the cars. Do you still have any of those old school toys that you had when you were a kid?
No, I think the oldest one that I had was like some of my N64 games, which I gave to my friend Jesse and Ashley. I actually we just looked at them. We just played a few of them when I went to Washington a few months ago. But there was that was pretty much it. Outside of that, I don't really have anything from back in the day.
So if you could bring back one that you had, is there one that you know that whatever it was? It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot. When I was like 19, I had I remember taking a video on one of like my phones, and it was of my Pokemon Gold team that I had I had put in well over 1,000 hours into it, like breeding Pokemon and all that. I had dozens of Pokemon at level 100, hand raised, no rare candies. And I remember thinking like, if someone were to offer me $1 million for this, I would say no. And I was poor AF. I was living in a place worse than this. I was working like 3 jobs. It was not good. And now thinking about it now, like obviously that I should have taken $1 million. It'd be stupid. Not that I was ever offered that, but that would be the one thing, because those internal batteries die after a while. So I lost that game. I don't know where it went. But if I could have like one gaming related wish, it would be to get that game back and be able, because back in the day, the first 2 generations, you can't migrate those over to the newer games. From generation 3 on, you can. I could play my new Pokemon Brilliant Diamond or Sword and Shield with Pokemon that I got from generation 3 back in like 2000, 2002. But it would be to play with those Pokemon again.
Tag. Yeah, man. It's tough. That's gotta hurt. You dedicate so much to it, and then you don't have it, you know?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing, gaming related thing from my childhood that I want.
Goodness. Okay, well,
Skyrim.
Skyrim?
Yeah, so it reminds me of playing this game called Skyrim, man. It's the game you can get lost in for hours, put hours and hours into.
that was a good game.
Yeah, man. I mean, you could set up your crib, you go around, you could be like whatever. It was like a Grand Theft Auto, but you know, of because what ancient times, whatever you call, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, the sad part is like once the next one comes out, yeah, it might be a couple years later, but once it comes out and it's for that next system, you looking like, damn, I put all that time, my crib, like now I gotta start over. Like, I don't know if I can do this, but and I think you were bringing that up before about the game you used to play, how you were saying like that I can't, you know, port over any of this stuff. Like that's it.
It's rough. That's where I think Pokemon has done really well. Since generation 3, there are ways to migrate over. And that's gotta feel so special to someone that's like 27, 28 years old, where their first game was Pokemon, you know, in that 3rd generation, Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, and being able to play with that over 20 years. That I'm so jealous of those people.
You know, I played World of Warcraft a lot when it first came out for years, and put countless hours of gameplay into it, money, just everything. And at the end of the day, I mean, the game still exists, but I can't just go back and, you know, sell my skins or my gear or whatever, right? But that's what really attracts me to Veve, NFTs in general. That I, you know, let's just say I have the Mickey NFT and I walk away. I don't log on to Veve for 5 years. I can come back and still sell it.
Yeah.
You know, that's.
I think what's interesting that you touched on is how I just read something recently saying how technically all these kids that are playing Fortnite are technically buying NFTs, because when you buy skins, you own them. And I don't know fully what they were saying, but they were trying to allude to them being minted to something to where you really own them, you know. I don't know. I don't play Fortnite.
I don't know.
I don't think you can sell the skins that you get though.
Okay.
I think in CS:GO you can get loot, you can get items like really cool knives, and you can sell the knives, you can sell the items. But for Fortnite, I think for all of the money that they make, the billions each year, that is not. I don't. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't think those skins and things are transferable or sellable.
Yeah, I don't think they're transferable. I think it's just the fact that when you buy them, they said that it's basically running in the background, that the person that buys them really owns them though. More in the sense of like Veve, like we don't have any particular wallet linked to Veve, but they're telling us we own them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they were saying like it all runs in the background, and then at one point they'll roll it out and make it to where everything will be inoperable. Yeah, because all those skins, certain characters, they want you to be able to use them in the metaverse and use them as your avatars. Yeah, so they're gonna have like actual value at some point. So I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that type of thing.
Yeah.
So all right, so going with, you know, talking about these you know, the benefits of NFTs and whatnot, what is the most valuable, and you know, if you're comfortable answering this, what is the most valuable NFT that you own, Veve or not? I'm assuming it's going to be on Veve.
Yeah, it's probably the Secret Rare Spider-Man. I think that's the one that's most valuable, because I think those are like 21,000 right now, give or take.
Yeah.
Did you get that on the drop, or did you buy on the market?
Oh no, I bought that on the market. That was, I remember thinking, and I don't know if it was my like addiction side trying to reason with my logic side. I was like, okay, well, happens all the time. As soon as the market opens, it'll rush for this much, and then after a while it'll settle down. But I think because for that Spider-Man one, we had to wait like 27 hours for that market to reopen. Because it didn't open right away. We got it on like a Saturday, and that Sunday, like 27 hours later, the market opened. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, well, this is different because the market didn't just open a certain amount of time after. It was a day after. And also, this is Spider-Man. This is Marvel's first NFT. And I was like, so as soon as it opened, I got one for like 3,200, and then it went down to like 1,600. And I feel like that kid that's like, it's like, like that meme. Like, no. So I should have gotten another one.
Right, now look at you.
Yeah. But I know to not make that mistake, and not the mistake of buying too early, the mistake of not buying a second one when it goes to half of what you paid for it.
Absolutely.
Right. So I just did that where I bought the first, where Storm came out, she was like $3,000, and then, you know, 25, 22. And so I got one at 1,900. And then I see her the other day at like 749. It's like, this is stupid. So I bought another one. And then I bought 3 sub 100s of her because I thought they were pretty undervalued. And then a buddy of mine messaged me who already had 7 storms, bought another 20. I was like, what?
And then you moved on the right path though, because that's you and your boy you were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah, he said he did that. It's like because of me, and I was like, damn, that's and he also did that with Alligator Loki. Like he saw that I bought a bunch. It's like, yeah, you bought a bunch, and you were getting too close to what that I had, and you couldn't have more than me. So now he's got he's got more than triple than what I have. And I have 12.
I don't know, man. You know, we gotta talk off camera, man, about, you know, your sources of income, man. I gotta get on your level. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing some wrong things over here in Suffolk, man. I gotta move back to Nashville, bro. But man, earlier you were mentioning something about a drone video game or something like that.
Yeah, the gameplay looks really cool. It's like you build your own drone and you can like travel with it, and you go pretty fast. And Earth 2 wound up buying it because it was still in development. And yeah, Earth 2's been making some sick moves lately. So I was like, oh, this is legit. So yeah, very happy. And they're making the game free. The game was supposed to be like $45, $60 or whatever. And like, nah, we'll just release it for free. And I was like, oh.
Wow.
So in Earth 2, can you put NFTs, like what blockchain is it on?
So currently it's actually, they are partnered with Matic, Polygon.
You did say that. So it's Ethereum layer 2. So can you put in any NFTs?
No, not yet. You relax.
Pump the brakes.
So
it's
they're
like
actually
dying to find a place to put his NFTs.
I'm dying.
Somebody make this man a mall or something, please.
They're I don't know if it's on Atomic Hub, where there are actually a few NFTs that do bear the Earth 2 logo, and I'm on them, which is really cool. So you have one. I got number 69. There's like 100 of them made. So there's one of me, and then there was another one after that. And so I have a so there are a couple of NFTs that do bear the Earth 2 logo, and that's
very
so
dope.
I'm on those. That's really cool.
Very cool.
But outside of that, no, there's no interoperability with other NFTs sharing with this one yet. I think they will have that at some point.
So it's not an environment where it's like, you know, you have this wide, you know, far away bird's eye view, and then you're able to like, oh, there's my house, and then zoom in and then actually see room per room and stuff like that.
No, it's Google Maps pretty much. So you can see houses and stuff, and but there is no. When Logan Paul tried to buy his own place, somebody else bought it from him. They bought it out from underneath him already. He's like, can't even buy my own place. They bought it from me.
Hilarious.
But it's just that there's no like.
It's not. Yeah.
But they're building. You are able to build hollow buildings, like the outline of the buildings now, and they look cool.
Very dope. Very dope. I'm gonna definitely check it out tomorrow because it sounds interesting. I like it. And the fact that, you know, it's on Polygon Matic, you know, I'm really excited about that. So did you what do your friends and family, what do they know that you're a big NFT Veve YouTuber and stuff, you know, that you hold so much worth with Omi? Do they know this? And what do they think?
My close friends do, and I don't. So here's where I like. It's a little frustrating, where my friends have, my close friends, they saw me like get out of the military, and they saw me go and open up the high risk lending business underneath the umbrella of another company, and I had multiple people. Not really them. They just kind of let me do my thing, and like, all right, well, you know, I hope it works. But I had multiple people in family saying like, hey, you shouldn't get out of the military. You have a guaranteed job and you have guaranteed healthcare. And I was like, well, I wanted to be an X-ray technician, but eventually I go to school and they're like, okay, at least you're going to school. And then I get a job at the high risk lending place, just, you know, answering calls, just doing like data input. And then I realized that how much money can be made there. And I was making money just from the commissions of it, not even investing my own money. And I, you know, my first full month there, I made $8,000, and I was like,
you sound like me. You sound just like me, man. I answered a penny saver call to do like faxes, basic data entry, and I'm listening to these brokers on the phone, and I'm like, I could do better than that. Next thing I know, they gave me a script by month 2, bro. 6 G's, you know what I'm saying? It was like Boiler Room mixed with Wolf of Wall Street where I was at, man. It was
Dude,
crazy.
same exact thing.
See,
So,
I knew it. It's the Long Island thing, bro. They reckless out here. 18-year-olds with Lambos. It was wow. Like,
no, dude, it's nuts. So then my mom was all like, she wouldn't talk to me for a while because I dropped out of school, and then I was like, okay, so, and then I start making money, and then I start putting money into these deals, people that needed nothing crazy, $20,000-$30,000, and they were all business owners, so you get to see their bank statements, you get to see their stream of income and what they spend money on. Am I going to fund this tennis coach that just blew $3,000 in Vegas? Or am I going to fund this construction worker that the reason he doesn't have money is because he's using his money to pay his people. He's taking out credit cards so that he can get material for the next job. And he's owed $100,000 in aging receivables for 3 jobs that he just finished. So I feel like, and people were bad at that. People didn't understand how to read that. Yep. So I go in and I tell people, hey, I'm starting to give money back, and you're getting insane interest rate. You're getting up to 24.99% each year. And some people, they'll pay off early to get a discount. And it's like, this is so easy. I wish I had more money. He's like, guys, you got to get in this. And they're like, no, you're going to lose all your money. Now you had some, and I was like, no, guys. And eventually when I went from, 2017, I started with less than $3,000. To October of 2019, I had 100,000 aging receivables. And I was like, y'all can still get in if you want. And some of my friends did. But then I started going into Tesla and Pokemon cards. I was like, guys, I'm splitting there. I'm still brokering the high risk lending, but all my money is going into Tesla and Pokemon cards. And they're like, I don't think that's a good idea. I was like, guys, trust me. All of these Pokemon cards are undervalued. I knew what was selling for what and what was under and overvalued. And I knew Tesla was. I knew they were so disruptive. And they're like, the market just lost, half of its mojo. And I'm saying no, trust me, in harsh times, disruptive technologies flourish. And I keep telling them that all these other companies are not going to do well, and a lot of the money will flow into Tesla, and people are getting into Pokemon cards. And they said, no, I don't see it. And then I made a bunch of money with that. And then what really did it for a lot of them was, there's this card called a Trophy Kangaskhan, which was only released in Japan in 1998. It was a parent-child tournament. And if you won a certain amount of battles, you got this card. And at the time, the record price point was $25,000, but it hadn't been sold in a year. And I knew there's only 11 of those PSA 10, graded PSA 10 in the world. And my friend Scott had declined a $65,000 offer, but nobody else knew that. So I negotiated with this one guy to pay $80,000 for it. And my friend's like, are you freaking kidding me? You are disturbed. You're wrong. And I was like, I am not wrong. And then I wound up flipping that. I wound up selling it for almost 300 grand earlier this year. And, I'm telling my friends that, at that point to get into Bitcoin, that's what my plan was. And then I was like, and then I found Omi, and this was after Earth 2. And how many times do I have to be right for them to listen? And they still haven't. It's you guys, but some of my friends have. Some of my friends in recent years have.
I'll be real with you, man. I found your channel pretty early. I'm the type, when I find people's channels, especially when they're just starting, I'm pretty quiet. I don't really blow up the comments, but then as they're putting in work and they show they're going to be around, I know how much, hitting the like and adding comments is. So I start reaching out and, back when I found you, yeah, there were a couple of content creators for Veve and stuff, but a lot of those guys, I couldn't tell if they were shills. I couldn't tell if they were working with Veve. I can't tell, because certain people's level of production looks so good that it's so it was you, Joe, certain people I gravitated towards because I felt like, A, y'all were probably from New York. And then B, the way you come off your setting, it's what I would do, and very down to earth, you never acted like you're bigger than anybody. But I have to let you know, man, like me actually looking into Omi and then actually saying, okay, out of my budget, I want to add this onto the Veve app and get gems, but I might have to split it in half and get some more Omi. Like, when I started putting in perspective, you were talking, oh, by this was, I'll put it to you like this. I was watching your videos when you were like close to a million Omi. Like you were throwing like all types of shit at it. You were like, yo, I gotta hit a million. And then like I wasn't in yet, so I couldn't put in perspective how much that would translate to in like real money. But it just sounded like a lot. And I'm like, I don't understand. This guy sounds like a whale, but he looks like a regular dude. I'm like, how are you buying a million Omi? I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, so then when I started looking into it and then watching more, it was like you really were through seeing your sacrifices. It made me realize how important it was to still invest in the collectibles, but the gains that people may not be realizing that's there or for the Omi might be even crazier. Like, so I got to give you credit that you're the main one that like I still don't have a lot of it's a couple thousands, you know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing crazy, but I'm always mindful, like, before you think about investing in some crypto you don't know about, go with what you do know about, and it's goes back to like, when I started actually hanging around financially literal people, they would be like, okay, you got all these Jordans over here. How much Nike stock do you got? You over here buying, you always buy Exxon gas. How much Exxon shares you got? And stuff like that. Just putting stuff in perspective of like, if you support something, then, put yourself in position to reap some back end benefits and all those other things too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for you too, if there's a movie I want to watch, and I could get, and it's not on like Netflix or Paramount or whatever, instead I'll pay for it on YouTube as opposed to Amazon, just because YouTube pays me. So it's like, okay, I'll support what pays me.
So cyclical, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Makes sense. So, all right. So Randy, by the way, whoever's watching, drop a like. I have his Randy, the real Randy Chavez, a link to his YouTube channel. If for whatever reason you're not subscribed, click it, go subscribe, hurry back, drop a like. This is open forum. Go ahead. I was out of the chat up until about 3 minutes ago or so. I am back in the chat. So there is a question that came in on the chat by Anthony Rodriguez, and he's saying, what are your thoughts on Veve giving users the option to burn NFTs? Would this be a good idea or would it be a bad idea, giving the option to Veve users to burn NFTs?
I could see a couple of reasons why for both. I think good because, if somebody wants to say like, hey, you know what, I have a bunch of these extra ones that I bought one night when I was drunk or whatever, and I don't really need them, and I really want to make sure I get, if I burn them, you can get master collector points, and you could use those to try to get a drop that you really want. I think that is probably a good thing for that. But I also thought that if you already have, let's say like 1,000 collectibles or whatever, or several hundred collectibles, you probably have a lot of sets and you're probably getting enough points that you could save up over 6 months and you can get pretty much what you want. And you wouldn't really need to burn the collectibles. And if you only have, let's say, like a couple of collectibles and, maybe not a lot of sets, you're not going to burn the collectibles that you have. So I think that does only fit a pretty niche people like in the middle that want to burn some to be able to compete with the whales. But also, I think that this is just an idea. I forgot to ask Reese about it today when I was on Voices of Veve. But if you were to say like, hey, for a common, if you were to burn, 10 or 20 commons or 100, it probably have to be a lot. If you were to burn 100 commons, then you can get a sub 40, collectible for that common. I was like, right. Oh, that would be legit. I would totally do that.
So that's what they said? That's something they brought up?
That's what I would like. I didn't bring it up. But I did ask Reese about saying like, hey, wouldn't it be cool? Like, remember in Hunger Games when somebody gets eliminated, you hear like a cannon go off and you see the face show up that says this person's been eliminated. Wouldn't it be cool if we're able to turn on notifications for every time someone destroyed like a comic or a certain collectible? I would like, I'd be like, oh my God, who burned what? Who burned what? And you get to see the number that was destroyed. You get to see, I think that would be really great. The one thing I kind of don't like about it is if, you know, let's say you give your kids an account or you're, you know, they do something stupid and they accidentally delete your $100,000 collectible. Oh, like that would not be good. Or if you have like an ex and they go into your account just to screw you. I was like, oh, that would just.
Oh my God.
So I could see it. There's some really bad things happening.
And those Latinas, man, man.
One aspect I just get a little worried with the burning aspect as far as like, I don't like the idea of somebody burning a low mint.
I'm not crazy about it either. I'm with Strange on this. If I had to vote, I would vote no to the burning.
So this is why I got really big into Secret Rare Alligator Lokis, where I like the character. He's a pretty awesome character, but it's because I thought one night that, well, there's only 760 of the Secret Rare because they take away 40 out of the 800, and it's the lowest mint, and it really wasn't that expensive. And if you get, let's say, 10 people, let's say 10 guys that are that can, let's say millionaires that can afford, like my friend James just sent me a message that a buddy of his that works on Wall Street, that he sent a message to in August when the price is like 0.0027, is like, watch what this is by Christmas. And the dude, not my friend James, but the dude that he sent the message to, he makes like $10 million a year, like freaking ridiculous. Even if he wanted to, but let's say him and his buddies, they put in child's play $100,000 into this, and they go and they wanted to just control, not even watch the world burn, but just control the market. And they go and they say, okay, well, what's a popular thing? Okay, it's Marvel. Okay, we'll get the lowest mint Secret Rare. We'll buy them all up, and then after we buy a bunch of them, we could all chip in like $200 each, and then we could pull $20,000 together and burn like the rest of the supply that's available on the market. And then and that's just if they want to control the market and renting out their collectibles, not including, let's say, if 4chan gets a hold of this and they say, hey guys, let's make little girls cry, and they get one of the Mermicornos and they just pull up like $1 million and like, yeah, no girl's ever going to get this again. Like, we don't even want them. We're just going to burn them. We're just going to live stream us burning these ponies.
Or make it to where it's almost impossible to complete like a certain set.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Or if they know there's somebody that collects number 88 mints, if they say just to be like, they're just going to bake a couple $1,000s for an 88 mint, just going to burn it. Like, just because they can.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm crying right now.
You gotta play defense with this.
We might have to change the subject. This is getting a little touchy.
Bro. Man. Okay. Oh man, I don't like burning. I'm telling you.
There's going to we haven't run into it yet, but there is going to be a time, whether it's in Earth 2 or whether it's in the Veveverse, where I bet you like religion and race is going to go into it, and there's going to be like a bunch of people like ex-IDF, Israeli Defense Forces guys, that are going to buy a bunch of plots of land. They're going to call it like Israel and Jerusalem, and they're going to buy a couple of other plots of land. They're going to call it like Gaza, and by this time we're going to have Mario, and they're going to take some bomb arms, and they're just going to constantly bomb Gaza, and it's going to be such a crazy thing, and they'll be doing that with oh, hey, here's a brown character, let's get him, let's beat up the brown character. Let's use our I guarantee you stuff like that happens. Now I don't know how much of that'll be funny and how much of that'll be like, oh, that's like actually mean-spirited, or how much of that is like, all right, it's Family Guy type of
satire or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Along these lines. All right. So what is your Grail VV NFT that you want, something you don't have? Yeah.
Oh, that I don't have. Ooh. I don't. The Marvel Comics #1. I do not have a secret rare of that.
Okay. So going with that whole subject, what if somebody goes and takes the Marvel Comics #1 and secret rares and they burn a bunch of them and they just keep whatever, a few. That would, I mean that would make anybody go crazy, right?
Yeah, like, man, like that's because I mean I also think that is a like irresponsible show of I don't know what the word for it would be, privilege, where they can like that's $10,000. You can feed so many people with that. You could build a well in Africa, outfitted with a sanitation station, and you could do that's some real money. So I really hope that people don't do that.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure it won't happen.
I don't know. Like I said, there's people that are just gonna be like, yeah, let's heck people up.
Man, this messed me up right there. Cameron, what's up? Everybody, chat. Drop a like. I've got a link for the Real Randy Chavez's YouTube channel. It's pinned on top. Go over, sub. I did see somebody did say that they subbed. So yeah, anyone else, go over, sub, and drop a like, as I mentioned. So I also wanted to ask if there were an NFT. There was an NFT that to come to Veve, but that isn't Pokemon. Okay. So what NFT would you want Veve to create that's obviously not on the platform already, other than Pokemon?
So there's a few that come to mind. And Jurassic Park, Transformers, My Little Pony, Dragon Ball Z. Although we did announce Jurassic Park, so I don't know if that counts. But there's this one scene in one of the Transformers movies where Optimus Prime goes and he calls on like these dinosaur
Dinobots.
Yeah, the Dinobots, and he's riding a T-Rex. And I remember it was 4th of July. I forget what year. But it was 4th of July, and I saw that movie. And ever since then, I wanted Optimus Prime riding a T-Rex. And so definitely that. But I don't know if you guys have ever seen Death Battle on YouTube. Oh yeah. They take two amazing characters from different universes and they make them fight.
So sick.
And there was one episode, Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony versus Starscream. And I was like, oh God, this pony's gonna die. But then based on like the how fast Starscream can go, which is like Mach 2 maybe. Right. Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony can go like Mach 10 when she does the Sonic Rain Boom. So she can outspeed him. She's a black belt in karate. And there's just no way that, and I was like, oh my God, that's insane. So I want some My Little Pony NFT. That's another fun show. That sounds like it's like, really? Is it? And it's not like the 80s show, like the newer show. It's really good. So I really want those. I want to be able to have like a death battle.
I love it. I love it. The Grimlock was the leader of the Dinobots. I'm a huge Transformer fan.
Oh, cool.
And so fun fact is I still have him, Grimlock, the original toy. I told my mom, I said, Mom, like serious, like we need to change this name. My real name is Jose, right? Yeah. But she calls me Joey, right? So I'm like, look, this Joey business is not working. You refer to me as Grimlock. Okay, from this day forward, I'm Grimlock to you. Okay, and I remember she was like in Spanish, like, "Hey, like, ¿qué es eso, Grimlock?" And I'm like, "Ma," and I'm like, I remember, I'll never forget. She got pissed about it, and I was like trying to be firm, but it didn't work. But that's just how, man. If Grimlock comes out and Optimus is on, riding Grimlock, oh my Lord, that would be game over. Yeah. Then I'll burst into flames or something. I don't even know what's gonna happen. Man. Oh my God.
Well, so there was something you was touching on earlier during the live stream about like how you like going after low mints. It was funny because I was actually noticing the other day, I didn't even know that high mints were a thing. And I actually was just looking at prices on them. And then coincidentally, you were mentioning even that during your stream earlier. But funny situation that I went through recently that tied into everything he was touching on was before the 12 days of Veve, you know, I had a nice amount of gems on my hands and won't say exactly what I purchased, but I purchased something from season one, a very early, you know, collectible on Veve. It was a little pricey. And I bought it because you know how like when you pop into something, you'll see the floor price, and then let's say like the next listing is like $100 higher. And then the next listing after that is $50 higher. And then, you know, so you're like, if I scoop this up, and then let's say the mint on the floor is like a 3-digit, and everything else is 4-digit. You're thinking if I pick this up and just literally relist it, you know, I can make some nice profit.
Yeah.
And what you were touching on earlier, like you were saying how you can take advantage of low mints that are underpriced, but you have to be careful because if the item isn't hot, you can get a little jammed up. And that's what happened to me. Basically, I was trying to do a little quick flip right before the 12 days of Veve. And what I didn't realize was like, yeah, you got a low mint for a great price. And even if you list it underneath the next high price and make profit, like no one's clicking on this. And no one is really going to be trying to spend like 900 for 600 right now. Like, especially once they announce the 12 days of Veve, it's a wrap, you know? So I was doing all of this before the announcements, but I didn't realize that one factor of like, it's not hot enough. This was especially one of the first things on the app. And even as a collectible, it's not the hottest item. It's very rare. There's not a lot of mints of it. So it's like if you're, you know, and there is a lot of buzz nowadays about, you know, starting to stack up your season one stuff, get your early stuff now. So I kind of was leaving the door open for that aspect, but at the end of the day, bro, it did not work. So to a degree, I'm stuck with an asset that's worth a couple $100. And, you know, we could have something crazy drop on the app any day now. And then I'm forced with basically, you know, participating in a semi-gem squeeze situation. Yeah. You know, it's like, do you take a little loss on it just so you liquid again? And then you might come back getting something else, you know? So
I mean, I guess it depends on for me, I think time tends to be pretty, I don't want to say undervalued, where eventually if you want whatever you want, that if it's really popular, then maybe you don't have that much time and you're going to try to get on the drop. But unless it's like a Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, or like a Harry Potter thing, or Pokemon, whatever you like that is next, that let's say you might not be able to afford, most likely it'll cool off and there might be a sell-off of that when like the next big thing comes. So if let's say they drop Wolverine like the first of the year or whatever, and I'm able to go and you know, Wolverine versus Wolverine in AR, I would, and let's say I can't get it because I only have a couple hundred gems left. I just have to wait. I was like, okay, well, I just screwed myself. I got to pay for it now. I mean, I have the option where I could, when Omi moons, we have Omi NFT, I could buy it then, but just save up my pennies and then hopefully in like a month or so, when the next big thing comes out and that cools off, I can go and get that.
Whenever people forget about it, that's when I want to buy it. That's what I've been trying to do now, you know? And, you know, if I can't help it, not sell anything, but it's like, if I do have to sell something, try not to sell because I need gems for something else. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. So, you know, we're talking about good times to buy, you know, and whatnot. Going along those lines, what is the best investment, whether it be on Veve or off of Veve, a stock or something, best and worst investment you've done?
I think the best one's still, it might, and I think it's probably Omi, but before Omi, it was probably the Pokemon card. It was that Trophy Kangaskhan. That was because that happened within a year. I was contracted to pay for it last August, that 80K, which took me a couple months to pay off, and then I sold it in like July of this year for more than triple. So that was a nice, about $200,000 profit really quickly. With Omi, I haven't cashed it out yet, so I don't want to say it's been the right decision yet because it's not complete, but that will probably be the best one. The worst one, I would say when I first started investing in stocks, I was buying some SPY and the VOO, things that just track the S&P 500. I bought some Uber. I bought, this is before I really got a good look into Tesla. And then, I didn't spend that. I maybe spent like $5 to $7 grand or whatever. And then I when I was looking into Tesla, that is when it went from like 900 a share to like 350 a share. And this is pre-split. And I was like, okay, and everything, I spent like, 7-10 grand or whatever, it got cut in half. Right. So I was like, I mean, why would I keep, I could keep these and wait for it to go back up, which might take a while, or I could take, the loss on it and then put that into Tesla, and that'll go up a lot quicker than what these are. Right. So I wound up in my early investing career when I bought, which I thought were good companies. I think, not bad companies to buy in. I bought in those, and I took a loss on that short term. So
what's funny is your portfolio sounds like my current portfolio, which I started a couple years ago and have not really touched too much. So I have like the same one, SPY, all these different ones. And then at the time I think I was using Webull. So with Webull, you had to buy like whole shares. So that's the only reason I didn't get Tesla until like a little bit later. By then, the price was starting to go back up. This was still split also. But I'm in that same situation right now. And the way I've been rationalizing it is basically, like you said, like to me, somebody who says like, okay, well, you're selling a stock that you've been holding on to. You don't know where it's going. It's been dead, things have materialized in that sector or industry to where it's like they're not going to be the key players. So what are you going to do? And, you hear that one voice, all these guys on YouTube that'll be like, well, if you sell it when it's in the red, that's a loss. And I had to like step outside of things and really process it, because there's been times when I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't a loss. Like, this is a loss, is when I cashed it out. It's in the red. I lost half my position, my buy-in or whatever. And then I take the money and then I cash it out. I put it back on my bank card. I go get some gas, some food, whatever, some sneakers or something, and call it a day. That's a loss. But if I take that money and then I put it in Omi, or I put it in a collectible or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and it flips, then how is it still a loss? Like, it's not really a loss. So it's like, sometimes you got to take a step back to take two forward, as they would say, and you just re-solidified that I need to cash out a lot of stocks that are not doing anything.
Yeah, I think John Kreese from Cobra Kai said it best. Where it's like, it's addition by subtraction. And I told my friend Dan, the guy that really helped me with the high risk lending, like is like a brother. I said, I'm probably never going to touch a stock again, because crypto just goes so fast and NFTs just so much faster. I mean, maybe at some point when I was like so much money and I need like a store value, I'll put it in like a back in Tesla or whatever, or Starlink at that point. If SpaceX ever goes public. So.
Wow, yeah, very dope, very dope. So I'm just curious, because we see a little bit of your background and your investments and stuff. If you had to work but they were going to pay you a bunch of money. You're going to be rich, but you had to have a job or run a business. What would it be? Would it be what you ran before or something different?
So I had two businesses. I had the high risk lending business, and I had the Pokemon business. So buying and selling Pokemon was, and I don't, to turn those machines on again, to be able to go, it was very good while I was doing it, but it took a while to get started. It was, I don't know if I could do that again. If I were to start another bit, I don't know. It would probably be consulting. It would have to be like, hey, what should I do with it? And although I don't have like a Series 7 or 67 license, so I can't. I'm not actually technically a financial advisor. I mean, I was to my clients saying like, hey, how much money should I take out? I don't know. And I was like, okay, well, I'd help them that way. But so yeah, I'm not licensed, so I don't know what I would do. Honestly, if I had to start over, I would do contracting for Corvallis or DynCorp or Blackwater, like military contractors, and I'll just go away for a year. I'd make 90, 100 grand, and then I would come back, and then I'd be like, okay, let's get back to investing. And that's probably
cool.
what I'd do. Yeah.
I have a buddy that he's talking about doing that. He's, no kids, not married, and he's
Yeah.
yo, I'm out, and the money is retarded.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Crazy.
And they work less than we do. Like when we were in the military, like, when you're deployed, you're working like 13 hours a day, and a lot of times no days off. And when you but the civilian contractors that are over there, they're working like 10-hour days. They're working 5 days a week. It's just it's nuts. They get paid like 5 times as much as we do.
Wow.
So,
yeah, the money's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, we're having that conversation, but the thing is, you go out there and you're gonna miss out on like food. So going with that, what's your favorite food?
Oh, so I love fast food. I love Taco Bell. I love McDonald's. I love just
for real?
the greasiest, shittiest
He's always
food
talking about Taco Bell, man. Always.
Like last couple days, I've had these new beefy melts. Now, if you want the best bang for your buck, it's the beef burrito, which is like 440 calories for $1.
It's a fact.
But the beefy melts, now I got a little bit of money, is 620 calories, but it's $2. It's like, but it tastes a lot better, and it's not it doesn't like sit in your stomach as much.
Yeah.
But so I'll drink that and water all day. I like chocolate milk. I like pancake. I love food. But if I want, sometimes I just love a really good steak, and I don't do it that often. I used to do it like once a quarter. Now I'll do it like maybe maybe like twice a year. There's a place called Teller's. You might know where it is. Steakhouse, I think it's in Suffolk County. And you just get some good whiskey and just get steak. And it's a lot, but I do that a couple times a year. But mostly I like food. I like Entenmann's cookies. I like, the devil's frosting cake. I like donuts. As I'm not in good shape anymore.
What about
where I live in Brentwood? That's where the Entenmann's factory used to be.
Nice.
Factory.
That's dangerous.
Dangerous, bro. I mean, you can go in there and get the whole cake, like one of the cakes in the box, for like $2, bro, in the factory.
Oh. I would do that all the time. I have half a mind to go to Stop ShopRite right now. I won't, but I
get to the gym today. You so much you was trying to hit the gym, man.
So when I got sick a few weeks ago, I haven't been to the gym since. I have just been, I don't know what it is. I am just being disgusting and fat, and like I know it. I feel like that episode of BoJack Horseman where he's like, you're a piece of shit. You're a useless piece of shit. Put that cookie down. Do not take another cookie. You did it. You took that cookie because you're a useless piece of crap and nobody likes you. Like, that's what, I don't know why, but that's like, I don't deserve to go to the gym. I don't know what it is. It's like a mental thing. I don't know what's going on, but
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure you were gonna go, man. You was talking. He was like, "Yeah, I gotta go to the gym today, get back in it." I was like, "God, he's so." It didn't happen though.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. I need to get. I just was thrown out of my routine, and now but it's also hard, like, because in New York you have to wear a mask now at the gym. It's like,
No. Honestly, that's why I recently quit Planet Fitness. I haven't been there in over a year because whether they're telling me it's safe to go in or not, I'm not comfortable like around people like that.
Yeah.
And
So no, yeah, I know. It's when you get thrown off your routine, man, it just messes up everything. It's hard. It's hard already as it is to go, keep your routine, go into the gym. So, all right. So real quick. So, favorite place for vacation, whether you've been there or not, doesn't matter. Give me 2 or 3.
Two places. Probably Vienna, Austria, because I have a friend there. It's a beautiful city. It's women are gorgeous, and probably Germany and Ramstein Air Base, Germany, because I have a bunch of friends there, and outside a lot of people speak English, and a lot of the women are gorgeous. Although Spain probably has the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Like every person there in general is beautiful. It's like, oh my God. Ireland's fun too. I also Harry Potter World. Harry Potter World is like, I'm going to Florida next year. Like, I'm moving, and I want to be very close.
Wait, you moving?
Yeah. I'll be headed to.
What was that, Strange? I'm sorry.
I kept saying I'm right behind him, back to Florida, bro.
Oh, hell yeah!
You already know. I've been telling you.
Yo, Florida is where it's at. You don't have to tell me exactly where you're gonna go, but like a general area. Do you know where you're gonna go in Florida?
Yeah, it'll be. So the girlfriend wants West Palm Beach, and I want Florida, or I want Orlando. So I'll probably be in between there, at somewhere in the middle.
Well, you know what? A lot of my wife's family moved from Miami to Melbourne, which is somewhere between West Palm and Orlando. I guess it's closer to Orlando, but it's on the beach. And it's on the beach, a lot more affordable. So, people selling their places in Miami and going over there. I'm partial. It depends what you want. Obviously South Florida, if you don't have any kids, you guys can party. That's that life. But if you're not so much into the, the party stuff, come up, Melbourne, Orlando.
I love party. And I don't know if you guys know, at 30 cents, I am throwing a party in Orlando where my friend Stacy's I'm going to pay for everyone's Omi tattoos. And we're all going to get Omi tattoos. And then we're all going to go to Harry Potter World on acid. And it's going to be great. You don't have to do it, but I'm going to be on all the acid. So.
Yes, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So with crypto, wait, not a crypto pro. Who was it that we were? Oh wait, that's right. It was the GALE. We went down. The train got a little diverted. We did talk about DMT. What do you know about DMT?
Yeah, I did the synthetic version where I guess it's like tree bark and something that looks like wine. You have to eat like the tree bark. It's like crumpled up, almost like crumpled up like wheat thins or whatever. But it made me nauseous. And then apparently the nausea goes away after 15 minutes. And after you drink something that looks like wine, but it's not wine. I didn't see aliens. Like I didn't go to another universe. But I closed my eyes and I could see the bones in my hand, and it was like augmented reality. I saw everything that was still there, but there was other things also still there. But I closed my eyes and I saw it. Like it gave me superpowers I guess it gave me X-ray vision for a little. It was nuts.
Right.
So was it kind of like acid?
No, acid I can take a couple of different ways. I can take it to go out like partying, where everything just gets better. I could take it where I just laugh with people because everything's funny, or I could take it and just most of my financial decisions in the last year and a half were because of acid. Like to go all in on Tesla, to go all in on Pokemon card. This one Pokemon card, to go all in on Omi. My original plan earlier this year was to sell my Pokemon cards and buy Bitcoin, and buy some more Earth too. But then as I found Omi, I was like, this, you know, I was just diversifying at first, and then I one day I just took a couple tabs and I was like, what is actually the better thing? Because I have all this information and I wasn't 100% sure how to interpret it. Like, is it a sure thing? Is it? And I know nothing is, but after that trip, I was like, I knew that this was the most disruptive thing as far as collectibles, as far as crypto, as far as NFTs. Like, nothing was like this, and they were doing it all this at once. They're beautifully vertically integrated, and the team is just so innovative. And that's when so that was the decision. Like, okay, the drugs have shown me that Omi is the way.
It cleared the fog.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much this is going to encourage or incentivize
Don't do drugs, kids.
that are not traditional Omi holders yet.
Right.
Guys making moves based on acid, brother. I don't know.
So it has not steered me wrong yet.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think you know, we need more acid distributed in the world, man, to bring us up to your level. You know what I'm saying?
I also think that, yeah. So I'm not. I've just been. I'm maybe slightly until I can do math pretty well, but for the most part, it's just finding undervalued projects and finding undervalued things and just going all in. You know,
and put it right. That's the thing, because like my whole thing is, you know how it is, man. Years ago, it was like, oh, we're in the information age, right? You know, with the internet and all of that. And now, we're super flooded with information. You can't escape information now. So it's like, to me, it's not about the information. It's about who acts on it first, or who has the balls to even act on it first.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just kind of like what you're saying, you know.
Yeah, and the issue that I found with most people is they'll watch like CNBC or MSNBC and they'll say like, oh, well, these analysts say this, and this. But I was like, these analysts, they're just people. And back in the day when we didn't have the data that we do now, yes, you kind of needed them because they're the only ones that had it. But now that we have all the same information, we just get it maybe 12 hours later, we can make better decisions. Like when analysts that were mostly covering car companies were told to cover Tesla, and they're like, this is so overvalued. And, you know, I was like, well, they were valuing it as a car company, not a software company. And I was like, this is wrong. They're wrong. And understandably, I think that's why everyone's saying like, oh, you know more than a, you know, stock market Wall Street analyst. I was like, on this particular thing, I do, yeah.
Actually, right.
But I understand how that sounds. I have like no education, and like I just kind of military. Like there's no, you know, schooling, but I don't know. It's one of those hidden talents, I guess. And then acid just showed me the way. So I got lucky, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been a while since I've taken any tabs. It's been a while. I've done the regular and the gel ones and stuff, but it's been years. I would love to, you know, do it again. It's just, you know, current situation just, you know, doesn't allow it. But definitely, I need to like go away, you know, and just, you know, disconnect. I'll be back in a few days.
That invest in homie.
But yeah, man. I mean, obviously, when the both of you come to Florida, I'm in the Orlando area. Yeah, it's gonna be party. It's gonna be crazy. So speaking of partying, what about music? What kind of music do you like?
Oh, okay. So I like everything. I would say except for the newer mumble rap.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything else, I like. You could throw on something from like my grandma's era, like the 30s and 40s. You could throw on something like apparently that's like a cliche where I was listening to this like really old song. I was dating this girl that I met at the VA, and she's like, yeah, you're like a veteran that likes really old music. I was like, is that apparently it's a thing. But I, you know, do like Frank Sinatra. I like Elvis. I like the Beatles. You know, going way back, I like the you know, the Clash. You know, the Who, and into the newer stuff. The newer stuff, yeah, Nirvana. Old school rap is good. I'm some of the newer school stuff too, 50 Cent, Eminem. But I got super into like the pop punk for a while, like Sum 41 and Avril Lavigne and all that. But then I got like emo for a while, and I like
Daft Punk. No love for Daft Punk.
I don't know if I've heard that much Daft Punk. Oh, I also don't like ska that much. But name a couple things like from Daft Punk. Let's see if I know.
Around the World was like their first big single because the video was crazy. Yeah, that's the main one I could think of right now.
Okay. I like Bass Hunter too. Like I like the the house music. Like I like this group called Tattoo. Also, they're Russian. I like Russian girls, and so they're great. Spanish stuff I like. Mark Anthony, Shakira, Christina Aguilera had like one or two Spanish songs, but I like a lot of white girl stuff. I like Vanessa Carlton. Like I said,
Girl Wasted.
Huh?
White Girl Wasted.
Yeah.
That's right.
I've been really into this song. Well, you guys can tell what, like, based on my Patreon member shout outs. Like every I sing a lot of Green Day, I sing a lot of Beatles and stuff. But the recent one has been the ABCDFU song. I don't know if you guys seen that on TikTok.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
that's what's going around now.
Yeah, it's about like a breakup, and it's like F you and your mom and your sister and your job, and it's just basically telling her ex to F off. But it's just in like a fun, playful way, and there's a fun video out, and yeah. Game Boy or video game music also, like there'll be times where I was friends with the guy in services that used to work at the gym in the military, and I'd go in at like 11, 12 at night because I would work swing shifts. I go in from like 3 to like 11:30, so I get out at like 12, and I would go in and I would just be blasting like the Kirby theme song, like and I'm like so yeah.
Remind me a lot of one of my really good friends. We actually are roommates. Long hair, same, he's Puerto Rican though.
Yeah.
But we will literally out of nowhere pull up on YouTube the instrumental or theme music to one of the Zeldas or Contra, or like we listen to Nintendo music. Like it's so bugged out, or like all of the different Mega Men's, all the musics, So it's just funny, man. You're the same.
Yeah, a lot of the 8-bit stuff. 8-bit stuff is it slaps. Like there's sometimes like I'll like songs like My Hero Academia, like the You Say Run song, like the epic instrumental, and I'll look it up on 8-bit, or some of the new songs I'll look up on 8-bit because they're so good.
Yes.
Something I didn't say, I played piano, or I played violin for 7 years. I started in middle school, I played it through high school, and I taught myself piano when I was younger also. So I have a big appreciation for classical music as well. But there's some metal songs, like they like metal version of Canon in D, and there's just YouTube Transformers meets metal, and there's this one guy that's like I was like, it's so good.
That's the stuff we'll pull up out of nowhere and be listening to. Like he works on cars, so he just puts that on, and we're wilding out, man. Next thing you know, we're throwing Nas on my beat. It's crazy like that. Yeah,
it's so funny. Obviously we're all from the same area. There was I don't know if you had an opportunity to go to the Tunnel or Sound Factory in Manhattan, or Limelight. When these places were open, but they had I went through a stage where I still have an appreciation for techno. I still like techno, but I grew up all hip hop, and then when I went to Long Island, I got introduced to techno, and I liked it, and I started going to the Tunnel. Mm-hmm. So, speaking about the Tetris, excuse me, the Tetris songs, they would play it, and it was super dope. And I mean, this is in a mainstream club, and they're playing Tetris.
My friend Brandon, I think he still is a DJ. He got pretty popular at one point too, and he had this thing where it wasn't him, but he showed me this one guy that would mix in Mario themes, not like the whole theme, but it would be in like waiting for the beat to drop, then all of a sudden it's Mario going wow, and then it drops like what, like that type of stuff is cool. They used to play it at the gym. There was two songs I distinctly remember. There was one song saying like, where is Molly? I have to find my, and it took me a while to figure out that it was a drug reference. I thought that they were just looking for this girl Molly. And the other one was Barbara Streisand. That was the whole song. It was just Barbara Streisand, and it was just crazy techno stuff.
Wow.
Oh, my washing machine doesn't work. That was another one.
What
happened to my, yeah, so they would ask in the song like, why did you fuck my washing machine? I don't know why.
Bro, if you could hop in a DeLorean, right, the real time machine, and go anywhere in the past and then anywhere in the future, where would you go?
There's so many like, so I guess it depends on what I'm in the mood for. Like, am I gonna go to like, you know, game 6 of, you know, Mets versus like Red Sox, like the Billy Buckner play, and just freak out with people and run on the stand? Am I gonna go and see what it was like? Oh, I'm guessing I can't like change anything in history,
Right,
but
right. Just observe.
am I gonna go see what people felt when like JFK was shot, and see like read the room, read the area, or be in the room like when Hitler's like making all these plans, and hopefully it's translated somehow, and just really trying to understand, well, does he want to win, or does he want to cause the most amount of chaos? You know, and I guess in the past, like when, you know, that meteor came down and just rocked all the dinosaurs. God, what was that like? There's so many different things. You know, when the time when the first, you know, water creature comes onto land and gasps for breath. That that is a really good question. This is really fun.
It is. It's a hard one.
Yeah. I guess in the future, I would. Well, I don't know if our future or any future, because I'd be really curious to see a future where the dinosaurs weren't extinct, or if there's a future where we somehow bring them back. It's just massive. I mean, you know, I feel like people, the biggest ones that we have are like whales, you know, in the ocean, and then like bears being monsters. But and those are monsters. But what about like megalodon? What about, you know, freaking long necks? I forget, you know, the Bigfoot, like those. Yeah, like they're bigger than skyscrapers. But I guess in the future, see what would happen if, you know, if let's say Trump was elected a second time, or if JFK wasn't shot. You know, what would political
like an alternate reality?
Yeah, that would like the Marvel What If episodes. You know what? But in the future, yeah, I guess wanting to know when I would die, so that I could plan things out. That would be pretty interesting as well. Yeah, so that maybe Einstein's, you know, seeing him work, or seeing the next let's say we get to Mars, if civilization on there, how long does it take? How long until they're self-sustaining? How
about going in the past and seeing when we were already on Mars and destroyed that, came here? Sorry, that's another channel. That's for another channel.
I have heard theories about that. That why does most of the world have lower back issues? It's because the gravity is heavier here on Earth.
That's true, but it's not most of the world. It's actually it's a genetic thing. Genetic race.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when you're in caves for generations, you're gonna have back problems for generations leaving the caves.
That's a good point. That's a really good.
It's also how genetic mutations started. You know, this is why you know, certain people brought sexual acts like bestiality and certain sexual positions like doggy style to the world, because these were things that were happening in their culture frequently. So
Oh,
like
geez.
when the men would go out to hunt and hunt and gather, as they say,
Yeah.
over time, that area that did have maybe some fruits and berries or something you could gather, you had to go further and further out, because in the Caucasus Mountains, not a lot of vegetation grows.
Yeah.
So the further out they go, the longer the missions are. So they would have to leave those jackals or man's best friend behind to protect
Yeah.
the women and the kids at the caves. But the problem is when a woman menstruates, a dog doesn't care and knows place. Dog doesn't know. And if a woman is on all fours in a cave,
Oh man.
smashing
Oh,
occurs. And this is how
Oh
you
man.
get abnormalities in eyes and hair color.
I was
But this
thinking
is
more of the
for another
lines.
channel. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Another Nah, go ahead.
I was thinking more along the lines of, I think sex dolls were not invented until I think the 15 or 1600s.
Yeah.
So when randy sailors or horny sailors would go on long voyages, they would boink manatees because their genitalia is really similar. And there's this theory that when people would see mermaids, that wasn't a mythical thing.
No.
People would just say like, oh, that's probably the offspring of a manatee and a pirate, or a manatee and a sailor.
Right.
Now, obviously, we know that that's probably not the case, but that begs the question: how did we get mermaids? How did we get those people in the water, or that at least that looked like us, at least a little bit? And most likely, it was when we were evolving that there's some group of us stayed by the water.
Some stayed, and some intended so intentively to walk on land that we were able to modify genetics through thought. We're able to manifest anything through thought. You know what I'm saying? Especially if a group of people are focused.
I absolutely agree with that. So obviously, Randy, you believe in aliens.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, me too.
100%.
Have you had any experiences? Have you seen anything?
No. The only thing which I know, there's no proof, but when I was on mushrooms once, I was in a dark room and I suddenly shot out of myself, and I saw. I went past the Milky Way and Andromeda Galaxy. I don't know which galaxy I was in, but I saw two separate solar systems that were similar to ours, but they were separate, and they were communicating with each other. Like I saw that, and I was thinking, well, that race has not just a planet; they have multiple. They have a solar system and the solar system next to them, and they are communicating. And humans are not even a player on the board. They have some patches of dirt on one. But I do think that aliens are probably among us. You know, like Area 51, Roswell. Like there's almost too much that has and I don't know how much I can say. There is certain places that, well, I guess the places are fine. Like there is a place underneath Wright Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio that is no, like you just, a buddy of mine, those security forces that work there is like, yeah, you just make sure people that can access the place, they can go in, and people that can't, they can't. And so the place is fine. Like the place is known, but nobody really knows what goes on down there. Same with Area 51, and also the same with Antarctica, where there's a base down there. And in Antarctica, now most likely it's because back in the day, some dumb airmen were trying to explore, and they just, in a whiteout, they just died. But there's a chance.
Don't forget Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd made it back.
Yeah. So, well, he was flying. That was the thing. And wasn't he on the North Pole? Wasn't he in the North?
He led an expedition, I think, to both poles.
Oh, okay. But
then you have the woman that took the expedition on the ground to the Hollow Earth, and she wrote the book called The Hollow Earth.
I do remember hearing about that. I do know Admiral Byrd, or I don't know him, I just know of him. But yeah, now you're not allowed. There's a perimeter set up with security forces, and you're not allowed to go past there.
I heard about that.
So and now again, most likely it's because they don't want people dying as it gets cold. But also there's a chance that something out there that they just don't want us to see. So but yeah, I'm pretty confident. Well, I'm also pretty confident that we are a simulation, and I'm pretty confident that we are just ones and zeros in computer code. And
I'm
I
pretty
think
confident that we're not here. Like, this is the dream, and where we think we're dreaming is the reality.
That's I've thought about that too, where a lot of well, what is real? Because cats spend most of their day sleeping, so most of their time is in a different world.
Exactly.
And we're here, but but also, if we're tapping into other realities, like last night's dream, I had a huge growth on my neck, and I was telling my friend Erica that, like, hey, I need to get surgery tomorrow. She's like, well, can we go to a concert? I was like, no, I have to get this growth removed tomorrow. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Can I do YouTube? Is it going to, but it was a giant thing. And then I woke up, and then I immediately start telling a friend about it. And it's like, yeah, like the whole cast of like Schitt's Creek, they had that too. And it was like, I was like, oh, wow. So I Googled it, and it was like genitals that was on there. So it's like, oh my God. So if that is that's some messed up reality. That is some Rick and Morty type disgusting realities, which I'm glad we're here. But also, if we're, maybe those realities are also around us, and maybe schizophrenics are the only ones that can see it. Because if you're in let's say a car, and you're tuned into Z100. Well, all the other radio waves, like, CBS FM and 106.1, they're all still around you, but you're not tuned into them. So maybe we're only tuned into this, and certain people can, maybe drugs, maybe other things can help.
Absolutely. Or meditation. I'm big into meditation, and the Andromeda galaxy that you mentioned, there's ETs out there. So we definitely, Strange and I, because we both come from the same belief. Obviously, from what we're talking about, we keep saying we're going to do another YouTube channel, because obviously this whole thing, we love it. We eat it up. We'll talk on the phone, and we'll just talk. We could talk about this all day. So we're like, man, we need to start another channel about, talk about this. I'm like, man, this has to happen.
It's hard enough, man.
I know. But yeah, I mean, I'm big into again, the whole DMT thing, the whole astral projection, meditation, 100% believer. And Strange has actually put me onto a lot of findings and information, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Go back in the Telegram chat. Some things waiting for you in there.
Yeah. Uh-oh. So all right. So Randy, what, obviously we spoke about a whole bunch of stuff. All right, we went. The train went a little off track. It's seems like it's unavoidable. But what is something about yourself that would surprise us or everyone that we don't know about you?
I mean, I am pretty open, so most people I always answer. I like older women, not like like Granny, but like in the last 12 years, I've only dated 2 girls in their 20s. They've mostly been in their 30s and 40s, with 1 or 2 of them reaching like 50 at one point. So
we're on the same page, man.
50.
Yeah. I mean, that's not really, I guess, a shock. There is, I'm trying to think of anything that would super surprising. In towns, I bowled a 300 once when I was 15. I remember the date, June 21st, 2006. Wow. Yeah. No, I thought, something surprising. I mean, I think when you openly talk about tripping on LSD and
it's hard to top that.
Yeah, and I told you guys about the instruments I used to play, and yeah, that's really it. most of my money will go to charity, like 90% in the future, to animals, animal charity. But that's stuff I do talk about a lot.
So what was the craziest trip that you've had? By the way, everybody that's watching, link in the description. It's in the chat, in the live chat, okay, to Randy Chavez, the real Randy Chavez. Go subscribe, hurry back. We're wrapping it up here. We've been talking for a little bit now, so just wanted to get to know the real Randy Chavez, literally. So
I guess writing. I used to write a lot. What was the question before that, or the one that you just asked?
Okay, so what is something about yourself that would surprise us, and right? That yes.
Yeah, and then you just asked one right after that. I completely forgot what that was.
Oh gosh, man, I must be tripping too. Because I forgot it too. I know I what the heck did I ask?
It's all good. But I guess, yeah. So writing is something that I used to do a lot. And I'm trying to find a good one here. Is I would take things that would happen in like the military or just funny stories, and I would go and write them down on Facebook, and I'm putting them in a giant thing. I do want to make like voiceover animations of them. Like one of them, like the most recent one that I'm putting in like all these crazy files is it's just they have head voices in them, like I'm a crazy person, and but they're also about my friend Kara, who's really like gun happy, and they're about my old sweet mate. I didn't never give him a name, and when they come out, they'll be very funny, and they'll be very good. So that's another thing.
I remember the question. It was, what was the craziest trip?
Oh yeah. Probably, I mean, on shrooms, that was probably that one where I saw the universes. The other one's a crazy trip. There was, I don't know about crazy. Oh, I guess me and a couple of buddies from that I deployed with, they visited me in New York City. Actually, it came up my Snapchat memories yesterday. So it was 2 years ago yesterday, where we just we dropped it early morning, and then we dropped again like hours later. We just we had a bunch of bacon, and we ate really good food. We drank a lot all day. It was just a fun adventure in New York City. One of the best times was when that's really, a lot of them get really X-rated. Where I was dating this girl last year, and just she was just bombshell, and she was the nurse that I met at the VA, and just took after it was like it was like part of a movie, whereas we were both in like our 20s and just on acid. We were listening to like good music, we were drinking, we got room service. It was just, that was a really good day. Another one earlier this year, where me and my current girlfriend, we went with 3 of her friends. She has a house in the Poconos, and we were on acid, and we just tried.
You and 4 girls?
No, it was 3 gay guys. So
okay.
So yeah, that was. Although I have had things like that where I go out with like, I don't know, I get along with some girls. I just, even if it's not like a sexual thing, we just get along really well. I think because I like white girl music, and I like Gilmore Girls, and I don't know. But we just go exploring, and I remember having we crossed this bridge. I forgot my shoes, and I wasn't barefoot. I still had socks on, but I just had like this one glass of whiskey, and I was just I was laughing at everything, and I was like, yeah guys, we could die right now, there could be like a bear come on, and I was just cracking up. I think they were annoyed after a while, but that was it. It wasn't nothing like we lost our passports and we were stranded in a country, nothing like that.
I want to hit up Amsterdam for sure.
Oh, Amsterdam's been fun. Yeah, all of Europe that I've been to is great so far. Like super fantastic. I think Ireland was just there was a couple that I ran into on a wagon ride. I was like, how crazy does this place get on like St. Patrick's Day? And they said, like, I don't know, like we go to New York City for St. Patrick's Day every year. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, get the fudge out of here. Yeah, like the last 7 years, that's what they did. Like, that's nuts.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. That's funny. So the real Randy Chavez. Look, we've had you for, a while now. It looks like, I think like 2 hours. I'm
Nice.
sorry, I lost track of time. This was fantastic. Strange, did you have any last comments, statements, questions?
Not really, man. I just wanted to thank the brother for coming on and always being gracious being in the YouTube space, always being a cool, down-to-earth individual, man. Hopefully one day we get to link up in the physical. We only a couple miles apart, yeah, man, when we hit 30 cents, we're definitely heading your way, Joe. You know what I'm saying? We'll have some extra complimentary treats with us.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, you know what, I can organize an ayahuasca ceremony, and that would be something that we all could partake in.
I wonder if the team. So there's a Level Up Expo in February in Vegas that a lot of the community's going to. The team's not going to, but I would love to see the team trip. I would love to see it, like have them blurt out, be like, guess what we're doing, and then like
spill all the beans.
Actually, that was a question I did forget to ask. Was can you give us any takeaways or anything you think we should know from the interview you did earlier with the recent everyone?
I'm trying to think. I just got off that a little while ago. It's just how I always reminded how relaxed they are in this stressful job. Like when I was working, last year, early into this year, I had 2 businesses and I was trying to do YouTube, and I was not doing. I was working a lot and I was not handling the stress well. But they seem to handle it very well. They just seem like, it's no big deal. Like it's insane. Now are they like putting on a show, and maybe they're like, freaking out, like crying under their desk, all the time because they have to get so many of these out in such a short amount of time. It may be, but they seem really good. Somebody asked, there's like a $25 super chat on Wendy's channel, like, hey, ask Reese if we're getting exchanges in January. And he's like, I can't say, one way or the other. But it's just the way that he said it that maybe like probably going to be February, just because in other interviews where he's smiled before, and maybe he's been practicing on not smiling. But I would say we probably have another couple weeks, hopefully, to tackle him. I could be dead wrong. We could have an exchange in 2 weeks, but I'm thinking it might take a little while. Might take another one.
Yeah, man. By the way, Fast Eddie P, he has a question. He may be jumping on.
Yeah.
So we'll give him another minute or two. While we give him a minute or two to jump on, I wanted to say, Randy, you were always super cool with me. I remember I reached out to you. One of the first videos I watched was you talking about buying a lot of Omi, and I was like, okay, so he's big on Omi. So I sent you probably don't remember, you probably get a bunch of messages, but I sent you a direct message through Twitter, and we had a bit of a dialogue there, and I was like, okay, so what, tell me more, this and that, and you took the time. And look, I know how busy life is, between just everything, YouTube and all that, and like literally every second is well spent, doing whatever it is, whether it is uploading, recording, you know, whatever it is. And so I just want to say that was super dope, super cool, you know, and then on top of that, you come here and you spend 2 hours here, 2 hours and change now, talking to us. I mean, this was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. And
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I thought this was fantastic. We talked about aliens. We talked about acid, DMT, music, toys. You know, Veve. I mean, yeah, Veve was there somewhere. You know, this was phenomenal. So, but the fact that I know that your time is precious. I just want to just really emphasize, like, I know how precious your time is, and for you to do this is fantastic. This shows what type of person you are inside. And you know, you're a real one, you know. And I sent you a direct message, and I said that I was like, dude, you know, after you spoke to me, I was like, man, you were a real down to earth type of dude, you know. So, you know, I'm a fan for life. That's it. When you come to Florida, we're boys. We're gonna be doing all types of ayahuasca stuff and et cetera, et cetera.
I can't wait. Yeah. So these are. I like doing live streams because it's a good chance to take questions from the community. Well, it's a good chance for people that have been here for a while to hang and you know, we shoot the shit, but also because, you know, new people that are here, they'll ask certain questions, and it's good for, you know, someone might have the same question that 30 other people might ask and have to go through it. I like the live streams because it's kind of a break. Like most of my day is spent on the Veve app or answering messages. And so what I'm trying to do now is trying to be like, oh, hey, you know, I'll answer the question, but like any other questions, ask me on a YouTube comment, because comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Right. So I've been, and also because instead of answering the same questions, like, well, if somebody answers that, then at least it's public, then somebody that might have that same question, like, oh, perfect, this is answered already. How much that overlaps, probably not a lot, but if I'm going to answer questions anyway, I might as well do it on YouTube, and it'll help. But yeah, I think because most other YouTubers have jobs like Taps and Dan Lee and every, you know, Poor Man Printing, everyone, they have day jobs, and I don't, so I can do that. But yeah, I think the best, almost like a, not really like a, I guess maybe not to try to compare to myself to Captain America, but when I don't know if you read, well, I guess you do read comics. Yeah, you have some comics back there. Remember in like the lead up to Secret Wars, where you have like the Illuminati that Captain America was on, and they go, and Captain America was on the Illuminati not because he was super smart, like you know Rich Reed or Reed Richards and Black Panther and all that. He was on there because he was seen as like the moral high ground.
Yeah. So
I got it too.
Yeah. So I try to be like that, like someone that's seen as like not too disconnected, and someone that would be like, okay, well, let's try to break this down and what's the best way to go about certain problems, certain issues, and also just because I think trying to spread positivity, trying to be happy, and you know, and most other people are very good with that as well, but just in the unique position of having so much OMI and having that being that first public person to have that $1 million from OMI, saying like, seeing how that, I want people to know that they can get here without a college education, and you don't need fancy equipment. I got partnered with YouTube just on this phone. I didn't have a tablet. I still don't have a computer. And that if you know, again, I didn't have like a crazy bag. I wasn't anything. You can do what I did. You can go and you can work your butt off, and in a few years you can reach $1 million. That's nuts. It sounds nuts, but yeah. But it is possible. So.
Absolutely. And you're right. This is open to everybody, no matter, you know, what your situation is. You know, I feel that the opportunity is just so great right now. We're at the very beginning, And that's why I don't have a big old bankroll that I can go ahead and put in. Is just, in complete transparency, I have Madi that I have to, answer to. And she's always like, what are you doing? You're not doing that, so the money that I'm able to put into it, it's at least it's to me, it's going to make a difference because it's going to multiply,
Yeah.
So awesome. Again, and by the way, Fast Eddie P is not going to jump on. He just wanted to relay a message of this was fantastic. He loved it. You're down to earth dude, and that he wants to join us for the ayahuasca.
Okay. More the merrier. That should be
That's
good.
right. That's right. Yeah. My cousin, he in New York, he lives in Queens. So he's part of a group that they organize ayahuascas every so often, a couple a year, and they go to Bear Mountain. And there was one that happened a couple of months ago, late summer. So yeah, if you guys want to, go and you let me.
We can try to do that one day. We can try to. I wonder if I could record that. I feel like, hey guys.
Oh, I'm recording it. I'm recording it for sure. I'm recording it. Absolutely, man.
I know, man. Depending on where I'm at in my career, I might have to have y'all sign them. What's that?
No, non-disclosure.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so absolutely. So Strange. Any last words? Anything that I miss?
Man, keep it simple and just say thank you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun. I like these. I like doing this. I think it's important. I've done a few like this where people that, I mean, you guys have a decent amount of subscribers. You have over 1,000. But I just did one with the guy named the Power of Ideas. Ian Waller is his name, and it was like I was the first person that he interviewed like on the channel, and it was I like this because it's cool and different people have different questions and different points of view, and it's fun. I hope I can do this forever. I mean, I know that's probably not realistic, but I hope I can do it for as long as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you've got fans right here, man. So for sure, and I hope we get to do this again. This was phenomenal. I mean, it was great.
You know what I see coming though? I see at minimum like a Twitter Spaces with like, us, Carlton, GALE. It's gonna be crazy, man. And then we can have people like Brendan on, and our people that are always on, in our chats. And
Brendan Z,
I love that man.
To get interviewed. So look, Brandon, you said you want to be interviewed, so I'm gonna try to lock you in next week. So
yeah, Brendan, message me on Twitter.
Yeah, man. So well, I want to bring him onto the channel. He's like, yo, don't forget about me. I'm like, yo,
yeah, I gotta pick his brain, man. Brendan knows I gotta pick his brain, man. He hit me up about the Tom Brady DraftKings NFTs and the sword. And I'm like, all right, okay.
All right. Well, all right, everybody. So once again, thank you so much, Randy. I really do hope that we do this again. And so everybody, just want to say, Randy, any last words? Dashi.
What's everybody to Dashi?
Hi, Dashi.
And I guess do what you like. I mean, you can do whatever you want, and you could make the argument that, well, at the end it doesn't really matter because it's a whole big universe, so why shouldn't I take certain pleasures? And you could also, and that's fine, and then you could also say like, hey, I think I can help the world if I really do stuff, and you could definitely do that too. Do what is fulfilling and listen to your heart. And like if it were up to my parents, I would still be in school. Like I'd be trying to be like a whatever, but do what you want to do what you think is right, and look at people who have had success, find out what they did, do what they do, and one day you'll have what they have.
Awesome. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you, Randy.
Meow, meow.
All right, Dashi.
Meow, meow.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.